today we're going to review the CRM functionality in the application. We're going to kind of take not a too deep a dive. My plan is to show a high level of the application to give you a good feel for the capabilities of the application, more like a guided tour. These webinars Scott mentioned, we do them a couple times a month, and they really are to kind of introduce people to the different areas of the application. If you are interested in getting a deeper dive into the application, as Scott said, we'd be happy to set up a demo. You also have the ability to try the software on your own. We've got this terrific tool for evaluating the software. It's a free trial. You can go to xTuple.com and click on the big green button on the top of the screen that says free trial and register, and you can get your own copy of the software. You'll have everything that I show today and more. You get actually the full version of the xTuple commercial software as well. So that's a really terrific way to kind of evaluate and use the software, take it for a real test drive. That's a terrific way. And if you're interested in engaging either directly with us or one of our partners, we've got multiple partners around the country, around the world, we'd be happy to make those connections as well. As Scott said, you just need to send us an email at sales@xtuple.com, and we'd be happy to make those introductions or kind of continue that conversation. Okay, so the other thing that this is not exactly meant to do, I know people do sometimes use them as training sessions. It's not exactly meant to do that, just because I'm not going to go into the depth in any particular area that we might in a training session. So we do have training sessions. We actually offer training classes here at xTuple, and we offer some training classes remote as well. You can get more information about those on the xTuple website. You can look at the calendar, see when the next class is. We actually have the next class coming up here in Norfolk, Virginia next week. We do those about quarterly, so different classes offered at different times during the year. If you want to know, you can send an email to training@xtuple.com what the next class is or what you might be interested in, and we can connect you with that up there. You can also sign up for the classes right online if you want to. Okay, so excuse me. So what we're doing today is a review of the CRM functionality. This is one of the webinars that we do in a series of webinars. So we do an intro one where we go kind of more deeply into xTuple, a little bit of company background about xTuple, and a broader look at the entire application. What are all the things that an ERP solution can do? So that's almost a little bit less about the xTuple ERP. It's more about xTuple and about ERP in general. So that one we spend a lot of time going over navigation, a little bit more time on company background and those kinds of things. So I'm not going to do that today. So if that's something that you're interested in, we record these webinars. Like Scott said, you can go watch one that's recorded, or you can come back when we're doing one with a little bit more in-depth and navigation and that kind of stuff on xTuple. But we do them about specific functional areas. Last month we did one on service-based companies, and we do them on in the accounting area and different functional areas of the application. As I mentioned, we do also have classes here. Here are the few of the kinds of classes that we offer both on-site or here at xTuple and remote, and we can also do these classes on-site too. So just to kind of review from a functional perspective what we'll be looking at today, we won't go into too much detail here, but there are different versions of the xTuple application. Our entry-level version is PostBooks. PostBooks includes the CRM application. So really everything that we're looking at today from a software perspective is in the PostBooks edition. Interesting thing about that is it's a free application. You can download it, you can use it, you can take it and run with it for however long you want to. You're free to use it that way. There's a lot to it. If you're using it as an accounting package or as your ERP package, you might want some help, and again, that's where kind of we and our partners can come in. But it is a free application out there. Our business model is one where we take that free version and we build on top of it and extend it and provide additional functionality beyond what the free core PostBooks does. But it is built on top of that, so it's all an extension of that free version. The standard edition starts to bring in more inventory management and multi-company kind of capabilities. The manufacturing is really geared for manufacturing and heavy inventory-centric businesses. And then we've got an enterprise version that brings in lots of add-ons as well. It's kind of the all-in version. But from a functional perspective, they all have the same CRM set of functionality. So what we'll be looking at today is common across all of those today. And there's a terrific page on the xTuple website that you can get to from most of the menu options, but it's also xtuple.com/comparison, and it compares these different versions of the software. This is that page. You can get to it, and it's got these little dots on it that show you what's in which version of the software and what you get with each one. So that's kind of a handy one to go to. From a technology perspective, today I'm demoing the software on a Mac, so you'll see what the software looks like on a Mac, but it's actually pretty similar to what it looks like on Windows, which is shown here in my little icon. Functionally, it works exactly the same across all platforms, Windows, Mac, and Linux. There's a little nuances that kind of make it look more like a Mac app or more like a Windows XP app or more like a Windows 8 app. But those are operating system generated. Really functionally with the application, it's the same across the three platforms. What we've been doing over the last couple of years is building out a fourth client option, which is a browser-based option. So that as well will be available in any platform, any modern browser. You can use it. It's got a little bit of a different look and feel, but it is functionally the same. It works off the same database. It works in conjunction with all of the other clients. So you could be using a kind of a desktop client at home, and when you are in the office, and when you go home, maybe you sign on using the browser application. Again, it can work on any platform, including any modern mobile browsing platform or browser platform. So you could use it on an iPad or an Android phone or an iPhone, any kind of more modern platform that's out there, all tying back to that same database that's available. And whether you want to host it at your facility or maybe you want to host it with xTuple, we offer a cloud service, or maybe you have a trusted partner where you host other business applications, you can do that as well. Wherever and however you want to host it, that works with us and our model. And however the user needs to get into the application, that's fine as well. But so far, where we are in terms of the mobile client or the browser-based client is we've rolled it out. We're about 25 or 30% of the application. We started with CRM, and we've continued to roll out CRM functionality. We've just started down the path of inventory as well. Eventually, everything that you see in the desktop client will also be available in the browser-based client. That will probably be towards the end of 2014 before all of it's done. But all of it will be there, and then you'll have that option to go with whichever platform is kind of right for you, for the end user, for your IT organization, everything. So today I'll be mostly demoing in the desktop client, but I'm also going to spend some time in the mobile client as well, so you can get a feel for that too and kind of see how they work together. I'll just kind of close out here. I'd encourage you, recommend, if you've got some time, you want to know more about xTuple, there's so much good information on our website. So if you go to xtuple.com and xtuple.org, lots of great information, everything from customer testimonials and product information to the link to download the free trial and sign up for the free trial. That's all there and very available. All of our pricing is out there on the website. If you go to the xtuple.org site and want to learn more, you can get to all of our documentation. We really try hard to provide as much information for somebody that's evaluating the software or trying to self-educate themselves. We've provided many, many tools for you to do that. We'll help with that. We've got people to help with that you can hire and work with local partners to do that as well. But to the extent that you want to do some of that or all of that on your own, we've tried to provide great tools for doing that too. All right, let's dive into the actual application. Okay. Nope, this one. Okay. So this is what you see when you first log on to the xTuple application. Again, I'm demoing on a Mac, so you see I've got the little dock down here. So if you click on the icon in the dock, you're going to get a sign-in box where you put your username and password. It's going to direct you to a specific database and that you're going to go to. And users might not know or care about any of this, but they're going to have a username and password. That's what's going to control the security of the application. Once you log in, you come to this screen right here, which is the welcome screen. Everybody will have this same screen. This is actually a web page that comes from the xTuple website, and we're always updating the content. Our goal is to make this to be a useful page that you can come to as a reference from time to time to get some answers, get quick links to dig into the documentation or the issue tracker or the forums where you want to ask a question, sign up for that free trial or get more information about that. And I'll find out about kind of promotions that we have going on. If we're taking a survey about something, if anybody wants to participate in this would be great. Our online survey, trying to understand what people are doing with e-commerce and e-commerce solutions. We'd love you to participate in that. We're trying to understand more about that because we've got a series of products coming out, web-based portal products coming out, B2B, B2C, and support products coming out. We'd love to know more about what you're doing and what you might be looking for along those lines. The webinars are always posted here. The next training class is posted here, and tweets, which is the where everybody gets all of their news and information right from Twitter. And then you do your main navigating down the left-hand side here. So I'm on the welcome page here. I jump down and I'm going to go to CRM. This is where we're going to be spending a whole bunch of time today. This is called the CRM desktop. Each of these icons here represent a desktop, and we're going to be spending time with the the CRM desktop here. So what you're seeing here and what's on the desktop are what we have found and what we have heard from the customer base and from the user community are the things that people use most in these functional areas, specifically in CRM here. So in our world, in CRM, we actually refer to it not as customer relationship management, but as corporate relationship management, because for us, it's very integrated with the rest of the application. We see CRM as an extension of ERP, not a separate app that can work with ERP, but really an integrated part of it. Let me show you what I mean. If we click on CRM accounts, we're going to bring up a list of what we call CRM accounts, which are actually the people and company that you do business with, everybody that you do business with, whether it's a customer or a prospect or a vendor, a competitor, a partner, users of the system, employees, sales reps. Everybody has a base level of common information across everybody, right? I mean, everybody's got a phone number and an address and an email address, all that key information you're going to track about individuals irrespective of the relationship. It's kind of like your contacts on your phone, right? I mean, you're keeping somebody's name and their phone number and their important information about that on your phone. You don't have one app for your work people and another app for your personal friends and another app for your your hobby-related contacts, right? Everybody's in one place. And so that's the idea here, is to have one central repository for names and address, phone numbers, all that kind of stuff. And then have, extensions based on what your relationship with them is. So you might track unique information with somebody relative to the customer relationship, and there's information in the employee master that's not going to be on the customer master, right? So there's kind of extensions that exist there, but at the core, if you open any of these up, you're going to see we're tracking basic information about a company. This company happens to be called T-Toy. So there's a number and there's a name, and then you got the basic contact information. It's an organization or an individual. You've got maybe a parent child relationship, so you might have a relationship with several small entities that tie to a larger parent, and you got to pay the parent, but you do business with all the small entities. Or maybe you just want to have that relationship and be able to see it as well. And then you've got contacts. You can have a primary contact, a secondary. You can have an unlimited number of contacts. There is no limit. I've worked with other systems in the past where, you could have one, it was a one-to-one, an individual and a company. Sometimes you could have two, but not unlimited necessarily. That's in a modern system, you need that, and we have that today. So you can have all the information that you would expect to see, their phone number, their email address, their address. But then inevitably you're going to have some data or some facts or some things that you want to track or some ways that you want to categorize companies that we hadn't thought of, right? Everybody's got this. You've got different zones of the country or different kind of customer groups or, A, B, and C rated customers, just ways that you want to rank people or categorize people or note things about people that we hadn't thought of. So we do give you the ability to have user-defined fields. So you can have these user-defined fields. We have them here in CRM. They actually exist all over the xTuple ERP application, but because we're concentrating on CRM today, we'll focus on what's here. And we've got the characteristics here on the CRM account. And in my example here, we're tracking, I created one for account region. I created one for account type. I guess another one for account type. MAG type had to do with, I think, a customer that sold electronic type devices, and then the kind of industry that they're in. So you've got some flexibility with how you manage these things, these characteristics, user-defined fields. They can be, like when you create them, they can be an open field, so you can put any input in there for the field. But if I go to another one and scroll down, you can see account type. That's pulling from a list. So I've got account type that is customer, active, vendor dead, as examples. And these are not just fields that you're putting on here. These then become reportable. Hey, show me all of my companies that are dead vendors in Massachusetts. Maybe I'm going to go visit somebody there, and I want to go see if I can revive any of these dead customers there, any of those dead relationships, that kind of thing. And you can fill in what these are when you create the characteristic. You can say, I only want people to pull from a list, or I want people to put in free form whatever they want. So you define that. You can also make it a field like an address, or not an address, a phone number or a date, and then search that way as well. So you've got some nice tools for doing that. I always find with CRM systems that these user-defined fields and reporting on those user-defined fields are just really super critical. So this is relationship management. So the whole key behind this is, how do I track things that I've done with this customer over time? The idea behind a CRM is I want to institutionalize all of the interactions that each individual has with the customer, so that it's here and it's in the system, so that the next person that comes along can know, can see, can have the benefit of the prior person's experiences, right? So we've got a place to put contacts here. So last time I talked to them, they said the customer wanted a call back. Anytime you activate or deactivate a customer, you're going to see that here. Anytime when things change, because they're a customer, when things change on the customer master, things get logged. Like here, they went on customer warning, and then they came off customer warning and into good standing, maybe because I gave them a nice big credit limit raise. But this isn't necessarily tied to the CRM system if you're not using the customer portion. But if you are, it's kind of nice that you see that here too. Here, the customer called with a complaint. So when you create a comment, let me show you what you can do, because we've made them so that they are reportable as well. So I'm going to call it, I'm going to say that, for instance, there was a quote, customer wants on our services products. So I can save that comment here. And so what I've done then is save the kind of a comment it was, right, because I identified that. It logged who I am. It noted that. And it also logged the date here. So now this is all time sensitive. I've got a tool in the application for saying, hey, show me all my comments for this week, or show me all of my quote comments for this week, or show me all my quote comments that are tied to sales orders, that kind of thing. So as a sales manager, I can come in and say, hey, I want to check up on my salespeople, or I want to, as a sales rep, maybe you're kind of logging your activity for the week, something like that, so you can come in and see all of the comments that you've done, or anybody can see that. You know, I can go in and see by customer what are the comments out there. So just kind of a nice way to log all this activity, and it's a great way to, like I said before, institutionalize that knowledge. So I can come in here and go back to 2005 and see all of the different interactions that I've had with this customer over time. So if I'm the new sales rep, I want to get a little bit of history, it's a great way to do it right here. More and more, though, aren't these interactions that we have with our customers via email. Yes. So we've got a really terrific tool for tagging those emails too, and bringing those emails in here. So again, we're institutionalizing the relationship, the exchanges that we have with them. So it's here. We've got a record of it. And there's a lot of controls over exactly what goes into what goes in here. So it's not like all your personal email comes in here. You can say specifically which emails you want to come in and attach here, or you can set up a mailbox in your email system that says this mailbox is all work-related, so they'll all funnel into the system from there. So it's a really cool way to set up, and we can talk more about that you know, at another time if anybody's interested in specifically talking about it. But what it does is bring the email in here. So I've got a copy of the email, and I can see the content of the email. So I can see everything that was here. So I had a service call with them. That's what this one was about. If I open it up, I can see the details. And you can see when you open it up, what happens is the computer that you're on, or the device that you're on, understands that this is email, and will open it up using the default mail client on that device that you're on. So I can get that information. I can go back to I can go back to any of these messages here. So if I wanted to see an order acknowledgement or a sales order acknowledgement down here, I can go open it up, and it will bring up the message, and it will include any attachments. So all of that gets saved. So even if after you have put it in the special folder to sync, and it's now in the application, you go back and say, you know what, I don't want that on my computer anymore. It's taking up too much space. You delete it, and it still can remain in the ERP package. In fact, it's going to, unless you specifically go in and delete that out. So that's a really nice way to, again, to kind of log the email correspondence that you have with somebody over time, and the application understands, you know, where it should be routed and what it's tagged and tied to. And again, if you're interested in talking more about that, we certainly can. There's some documentation about there, or we can talk specifically about it. Or if you have some specific questions, there is a question log on your GoToWebinar console there. Any specific questions that you have along the way, just put them in there. Put them in there as you're thinking about them, and we'll try and get to questions at the end and answer questions at the end. So we talked about email. We talked about comments. We talked about characteristics. These are all ways to keep track of what I have done and categorize my customer and make sure that I'm logging my activity. But a CRM system, you really want help with managing your time, managing your relationship, remembering to follow up on things. So there's also this activity here for, I don't know what that is, for showing activity in the future. So on the activity tab here, I've got a whole series of to-dos that I created for myself, so I can bring one up. Maybe we had an incident with the customer. We wanted to check on something, so I'm going to say, let's remember to check on that today. And in fact, I want to set a little alarm for myself so that I remember. I'll get an event, I'll get an email message, and I'll get a system message here. So I get a warning on this if I wanted to follow up. So when you create a to-do, so if I say I'm going to do a new to-do here, you give it a name, you can give it a description, a priority. You can assign it to somebody. So maybe I want to assign it to somebody that works for me, and I want them to follow up, or it's my manager really is the one who should follow up with this. So you can create a to-do for somebody else there. You can have a contact, say, who it's associated with. put notes and descriptions on here. We've already seen alarms. So there's some really nice tools for keeping on top of the things that you need to do in the future. So as a sales rep, I can come in the morning and I can bring up my to-do list here, and I can see all the things that I've got here and the various due dates that I've got. I can see what I've got today. I've got lots of ways to filter on that. I can see, show me a due date of today. So show me just the things that I have on or before today. Oh, so these are all before as well. So these are the things that I haven't quite taken care of off of my to-do list. But I do have today's in there as well, and then I can go right from here and I can jump into it. It's a customer, so I can go view that actual customer, get into there. So lots of ways to track all of that. The other activities that are out here and available for a customer. One is opportunities. So if I'm tracking my pipeline and tracking opportunities that I've got with customers, I can do that with this tool. So I can give an opportunity a name, associate it with a customer, give it a dollar amount and a probability. So this allows me as a sales manager to look at, well, what are the opportunities that I have that have a target close date of 11:30 here. Or what do I have for things that are targeted this quarter, something like that. So I've got all kinds of tools for being able to look out and look ahead and look at my pipeline. It's a pipeline management tool. I can look at the deals. I can drill into them. As a sales manager, I can look at all the people underneath me. As a sales rep, I can look at all of my deals. So I've got lots of things that I can do there, and I can also kind of define my sales process. So every organization that has salespeople that sells things, there is a sales process, right? It starts with maybe somebody calling or registering on the website and asking for information or meeting at a trade show, and then the next stage might be send information. The next stage might be create a prototype, or the next stage might be send a free sample, something like that. So you might have steps in your sales process that you almost always go through. So having stages allows you to define those, and then again, as a manager or as a sales rep, say, hey, show me all of the deals that I have up there where customers have quotes. I need to follow up on all of those. So you can go in and see all those. Your manager might say, hey, show me all the deals where my sales reps say we've got a verbal on it. I want to see what's coming in this quarter or this month. So it's a really helpful tool for managing from lots of different angles. So I can come in, again, as a manager, just like we did with the to-do list, I can come in and look at opportunities, and I can, like I said, look for all opportunities with a target on or before date of 12/31. So here are all the here are all the opportunities that I have. I guess none, but all the opportunities that I have that are out there for in this window. So I guess that was after. But we've got all these opportunities, and I can filter by all kinds of things. And then I've always got the ability to, anytime, if I'm take this out and look at all the opportunities. There's just not a lot. I don't have a lot of in my demo database. But anytime I'm looking at stuff, if I'm a manager and I say, I want to do a couple of things with this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to jump over to Excel. I'm going to paste it in here, and then I want to, grab this information and, I don't know, chart and graph it and, do some interesting things with it. So you've got the tools to do that very simply, to go from one to the other very easily. So we've kind of looked at, well, one last thing here that I want to go over is incidents. So if you're in a kind of business where you might have some kind of service aspect to your business, customer calls with a complaint or customer calls with service, and somebody in support needs to call them back, or somebody in product management needs to call them back, we've got this terrific tool for managing those kinds of situations that we call incident management. So you can use it for lots of different parts of your business, but you can also use it for things like, maybe you're in the server repair business or the IT consulting business, and your customer calls in and they say their website is down. Well, this is big. It's, we're going to assign it to somebody specifically. So we'll assign it to me specifically, and then there's different stages of it here, not unlike with the opportunity. And then we can say we need to set up some tasks, some to-do. So they assigned it to me. I need to follow up the customer. We assigned it to a field tech. He needs to go on site. So you can create to-dos that are specifically associated with this incident. So now we're tracking all of the activities here, and you can even say, maybe it was with a specific item, one of our, this particular product and this particular serial number, all of that is there. So when the tech shows up on site to work with this, he can look at the incident, he can get, the history of it, he can understand, see any comments, everything that's been going on with this particular incident. So anything from very simple, hey, customer calls up, we want to route it to a support person to call them back, to more sophisticated, I've got people in the field, I've got repair people, or I've got support people, and I need to push this information out to them. And you might want to print it off before you go, or you might have users that are not using a desktop like this, but they might have kind of a different user interface for the application. This is the browser-based view of the application. So, and when you first sign on, it looks a little similar, right? You've got that same welcome page here. But if I go over to CRM, we've got a few more things here. We've got the dashboard, which is kind of nice. You have the ability to look at products by opportunities, by type, or by priority. So I've got different ways that I can look at some of this data. I can add new ones, new dashboards on the fly. But similarly to what we were looking at before, I've got a list of accounts, and if I bring up the account that I had before, I can see information about the customer that we saw before, the contact, all of that related information. We can see the relationship, right? They're a customer or an employee, partner, all of that. We can see all of the comments, so I can see, again, the history going back to 2005 when we first started working with them. We haven't gotten into the document tab. That's kind of a neat feature that's all over the xTuple ERP application as well. It allows you to attach any document, internal or external, to wherever you are. Like I'm in the CRM account here. I want to attach a spreadsheet, or I want to attach an image of the company's logo. I can do that from anywhere. So I can scroll through, so you can see, you can kind of imagine that, how this could work on a tablet, right? I'm on a desktop, and I'm kind of swiping up and back and forth with it. It was really designed so that it can be optimally used in a desktop environment like we are here, but you can imagine in a tablet environment that might be a little smaller, or a smaller tablet, smaller form factor tablet, or a phone. So now I'm looking at this, in a phone kind of way, and I can, slide all this information over and still see all of that same information, and look at my list of to-dos. So I've got that same kind of capability, all the functionality, because it's all tying back to the same database, right? It's all going off of the same information that we're tracking about the customer. It's all saved in one place in the back end. What we're looking at here is just different ways to view it. So again, if you think about that service technician that might be working on incidents, he can come back to here, he can look up incidents, he can see all of the incidents that he has or that he might have, and I can drill into any one, or again, I can go back. Let me go back and kind of go to that account, and we'll put a, this is a different database here, so I'll put a comment here and say, getting server installed. So we'll go ahead and save that on this account, and then if we go into this view of it, and we bring up the CRM account again, and we bring up T-Toys and we look at comments, you can see customer called, wants help getting server installed. So again, it's just different views of the same thing. I've been talking for 45 minutes here. We're supposed to pause and do poll questions, and I haven't given Scott the opportunity to do that. I don't know, Scott, if you have a poll question kind of ready to go, or maybe we do 2 in a row and
yeah, let's do it.
Advance the process.
Yeah, sure. So let's just start with this one. xTuple CRM enables tracking of all business relationships, including vendors, true or false? Okay, about 10 more seconds. Okay. And everyone got that right, and that was 100% true. The corporate relationship management, you can track your vendors, competitors, tax authority, track everybody that's involved with your business. We'll go ahead and do one more.
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay. So this will be a good one. What tool with CRM is used to track specific deals and deal statuses, opportunities, to-dos, or projects?
We didn't even talk about projects. I'll just do a little overview of projects as we close up here.
Okay, looks like we got everybody. So the answer to that question was opportunities. Opportunities is a good way to track your actual specific revenue deals and check their statuses to see, again, remember if it was verbal or won or lost, see where we are with that deal. So I think that's it for right now. I'm going to go back to Wally.
Okay. Thanks. So the last thing in Scott's slide reminded me actually of the last thing that I wanted to talk about relative to CRM and the capabilities of the application is projects. So if you think of CRM, it's really, I mean, all we're trying to do is give you tools for helping managing different scenarios with your customers. So some might be, hey, they're sales-oriented. Some might just be service-oriented. Some might be kind of project-oriented, meaning it's longer term. You know, there's very specific things that happen with our engagement over the next couple of weeks here, so, or a couple of months, something like that. So projects allows me to set up things or set up an entity. We call it a project that will have steps. So, or what we call tasks. So you might have individual things that are steps in the project. So this is a construction-oriented project. So we're going to meet with the customer, we're going to do some engineering and do some designs, and then we're going to do some prototype of building of some things, and then we're going to send them some samples, and then they're going to work with the customer on the marketing program. So each of these tasks can have a little bit of a life of their own as well. So in this concept here, we're going to work with the customer, and we anticipate that there'll be an amount of time, and we'll bill against that time. There will be some expenses, and we'll bill against those expenses. We can even set up billing rates. So if you're in the kind of business where you might provide a billable service or provide aftermarket service that is billable, you can have that as well here, and so you can set these up as vehicles to bill against. So you can set up projects, and everybody's worked with something like Microsoft Project before, so you get an idea of project. This just really ties it into the customer very well and allows you to, you know, have a contact for the customer, allows you to keep comments on that project, allows you to attach documents. So if I wanted to attach a specific file, maybe it is a Microsoft project that you wanted to attach here to the application. So maybe I want to, just attach this PDF here. So I've got that. You can also make projects recurring. So if they're repetitive, you can have a project a month, something like that. So you can see that. I can also look at it from a little bit of a Gantt chart-oriented perspective. So I can come in here and I can see what steps are supposed to take place over what kind of window of time, and where are we in that. So I've got a view there of it as well. And then once you've got a project in place, if you are in a billable kind of scenario with your business, you can come in as an employee and bill against it. So I'll come in and create a new timesheet for this week. We'll say it ends on Friday, and I'll do a new time entry here. So I'll say I did some work today on that, some time on that project that I was just working on, or no, this was the one. Greenleaf, and we'll say we did some engineering, and so we did professional services against it. Let's say we did 4 hours, and this is billable time to the customer. So this is my rate, my internal rate, and this is, or to the customer, and this is what we're going to bill the customer, $175 an hour. This is my internal rate, so this is the cost of the company. What this does is actually allow us to manage a subcontractor process. So if I'm a sub that's managing a part of the project for another company, it allows me to bill the company. It allows the company to bill the customer and pay me. That's all factored in here as well. So I can say what I worked on. So I can go ahead and save that time. Get out of here and then save this project. If it's a scenario where I was also accumulating expenses and I wanted to attach photocopies or pictures of receipts, I can do that here too. And then go ahead and save it. And then I can approve it as a manager and then process it for billing. So I can bill the customer and I can create a voucher to pay the employee or the contractor. So that's all part of CRM as well. That's as well functionality that exists in the browser client as well. I can come into project here. I can do worksheets, same kind of idea, and I can do my time. So you can imagine you can do your time at home on an iPad or on your phone, that kind of idea. All right, that's from a content perspective, that's really what I wanted to cover today. Do we have one more question, Scott?
Yeah, let's we can finish this one up. Here we go. xTuple CRM is available for purchase and use with any of the ERP product versions. True or false? Okay. And the answer to that was true. The CRM is included when you do purchase the ERP application.
It's also included with the PostBooks edition, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So that's really the end of what we wanted to see here. So if we've got any questions, I would be happy to take them at this point. Or if not, looks like we have a question. You see that?
Yeah. So Patrick writes that ambiguous questions, it's not available for purchase. It's included in the purchase, and that is correct.
CRM, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it's included. So, yeah, kind of the point that I started to make at the beginning of the of it was that we don't really consider it to be a separate module. It's functionality that's included in ERP. I mean, there are people, that with the free product, there are people who are downloading and just using the CRM portion of PostBooks. We know there are people out there that are doing that and that are using it. We know that there are people who have a plan to start with CRM and then use the rest of the application. We talk to people all the time who want to start that way. So it can operate, my point is it can operate separately, but it is part of the main application and included and not an extra charge.
Mm-hmm.
The one exception to that, I would say, is that the email type functionality that I showed, being able to log your emails, being able to push emails out to customers, that's all enabled by an add-on product that's called xTuple Connect. So that is an add-on product that you can get in the store, the xTuple Exchange, to enable email. That's not out of the box necessarily included, unless, like you, Patrick, you have an enterprise license and everything's included, but not uniquely. So if there are no other questions, if you've got them in the future or come up with a question down the line where you want to send them to us or let us know if you've got, you need any help, want to engage with somebody from xTuple, or just have some questions. You can certainly reach out to us at sales@xtuple.com. The forums on the xtuple.org website are also a terrific place to log questions if you've got them. But we're happy to help. The next webinar that we're going to do will be on the third Wednesday of this month. It will be on accounting. And please feel free to come on board with that one too. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.